It's Raz on F1 here. My name is Erasmus Habermann. As always, I'll be giving my thoughts on the Bahrain F1 Grand Prix this weekend. To start with, I'm going to start with practice one. Unfortunately, I'm not at my computer at the minute, so the first part, this part is only going to be audio, but later on, when I'm on my computer, I'm gonna record it via camera, so you're gonna be able to see me. So here we go. First of all, I would like to wish Fernando Alonso a very speedy recovery. I think it's the right decision for him not to race, given the crash that he had last time out in Melbourne, and if he has got some broken ribs still, then it's the right decision for him not to race. I hope Stoffel Van Dorn is up to the job, because he has just come from Japan yesterday, I do believe, and does a good job, because to fill Fernando's boots isn't an easy job. So good luck, Stoffel. I wonder what McLaren would do if Stoffel Van Dorn happens to be quicker than Jensen Button, or do better than Fernando Alonso. I wonder what Toro is going to happen to Toro Russell this weekend, and whether they can mix it up with the Red Bulls, with the Red Bull team. My only concern would be, how would Red Bull react if they would be beaten by the sister team. I can't believe that they gonna have the boring version of qualifying again, like they did in Melbourne for this weekend. I think it's the wrong decision. I think they should go back to the old one like it was last year. I like the fact that Tony Dodgens says that anyone who becomes GP2 champion should be automatically promoted to Formula One. Unfortunately, I do not believe that is technically ever going to happen, because money always rules in Formula One, and as long as nothing is done about the finances, I think paid drivers will always exist, and will take the seats away from talented drivers. I go as far as to say that even the likes of Pastor Maldonado, he was effectively a paid driver, I presume. I suppose because he got sponsored by that oil company. I think he wasn't as talented at all as people might have expected, and I think the only reason why he was in Formula One is because of the money. So quite frankly, I'm glad Renault decided to give Kevin Magnussen another chance, because I think he truly deserves it. Is it me, or is Christian Horner the technical advisor of the Formula One coverage? Because he seems to be joining them from the pit wall an awful lot. So I wonder whether he actually got a contract with them, or whether he's just doing it out of the goodness of his heart. I really want to know that. I wonder whether anybody can answer that. If I was Bernie Ecclestone, I would give half the race points to the top 10 in the qualifying as well. So I would give half the points for pole position, which would be 12.5 points, I do believe. So that would spice up the qualifying, I do believe. Yep. That is what I would do. Do you agree? Well, people, it is Razzie again for Raz on F1, giving you my thoughts on free practice 2 for the Bahrain Grand Prix. It is 6 minutes to midnight, and again, this is just gonna be audio because I can't sleep. So I thought I at least record the audio for the second practice session, and give you my thoughts. So apologies if you still can't see me, but obviously I'm still not on my computer. But I will be recording the free practice 3 and qualifying, and hopefully the race on camera so that you can see me then. Okay, so here we go. Everybody thought that Pascal Wehrlein is a hot shot in Formula One. Well, at the minute he can't really show it, in my opinion, because the Manor team shouldn't really be there, in my opinion. As I said in my previous review, to be beaten or to be outscored in the first Grand Prix by Haas, the Haas team getting into the points, is amazing, and the Manor team should really consider whether they shouldn't really pull out of Formula One, because for whatever reason I believe that the Manor team is never gonna get anywhere, and I think it's a waste of talent for Pascal Wehrlein. If I was Pascal Wehrlein, I would have chosen to stay in the DTM for at least another season until a top team seat became available, because in my opinion I wouldn't want to drive for a team that's more or less going to be at the back throughout the whole season without any chance of getting any points, unless of a freak coincidence like they were in Monaco in when Jules Bianchi scored 2 points for the uh, Mana Marussia team, which is now Marussia, which is now Mana F1. Other than that, there's no chance of them scoring any points, in my opinion. I agree with Jos Verstappen about him saying that that Max has learned his lesson about not swearing on the radio and talk about it with the team outside, away from the media. However, I don't think it was so bad, him swearing, because what is the difference between when Fernando Alonso told Honda over the radio that that the engine was worse than a GP2 car, and Hamilton, I can remember, also complaining about the pit stop. So I don't think a bit of speaking their minds is such a bad idea. Apparently, Red Bull have joined forces with Aston Martin, and they wanna make a supercar with them. My opinion is that Formula One teams should stick to what they know, which is track racing, and shouldn't go into road car manufacturing or design, because if they do that, then it's inevitable that they take the eye off the ball in their racing. In terms of their racing, I believe that this is part of the reason why Red Bull's performance has declined. And if we remember, McLaren are guilty of the same thing, because their performance also dropped when they started building supercars. So Formula One teams should concentrate purely on building Formula One cars. There's definitely one downside about the radio communication restrictions, which is we won't hear comments like "Leave me alone, I know what I'm doing" from Kimi Räikkönen, or "Give me the white visor," and Rob Smedley replying to Felipe Massa, "Felipe, baby, stay cool. We getting you the white visor." I think these are classics, and my fear is that we never gonna hear exchanges like that again over the radio. Vettel lost drive in his Ferrari. I hope it's not gearbox, because that wouldn't be good. Roman Grosjean lost a front wing after he ran over the curb. Apparently, there was some smoke coming out the back of Roman Grosjean's car. Yep. So I'm not too sure what that indicates, but let's hope it's nothing too serious. Hello, it's Raz on F1 here. Again, giving you my thoughts on the free practice 3 of the Bahrain Grand Prix. Well, what a turn up for the books that was, wasn't it? I'm very surprised that Vettel and Kimi Räikkönen topped the timesheets in front of Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton. So let's see how that goes. I'm also very surprised that Kevin Magnussen has to start from the pit lane due to apparently ignoring the order to go to the weighbridge. I personally think they go in a bit over the top with giving him a penalty. I think a financial penalty would have been sufficient, and I also am very surprised that Fernando Alonso is staying for the whole weekend, despite not being able to race this weekend, obviously. It just shows that he still is committed to Formula 1 and McLaren, I do believe, which I personally didn't think he was, judging by the comments he made last season. But let's wait and see how McLaren get on this weekend. I'm also pretty surprised and really upset, really, that the qualifying apparently is gonna be the same as it was in Australia 2016, because I don't believe it works, and I think they should really consider the point that I made in earlier in this video, in this video, where when I was doing the audio commentary on the free practices, where they give half points for pole position and so on. I think that would spice it up dramatically. All in all, I'm also very surprised that both the Haas drivers, Roman Grosjean and Esteban Gutierrez, managed to get into the top 10. I know it's only practice and it doesn't say anything regarding their true pace. However, I do think that this team can go a long way. So let's wait and see. Thanks for watching, and I will give you my thoughts on qualifying and then the race. Just in case anybody is wondering why I'm wearing the old Williams top, is not because I'm getting sponsored by them or anything, although that would be nice, to be honest. No, I'm just a fan of Williams since the 30th of October 2013, because out of the all the teams, they were the only ones that responded to my request to give me some advice on on how to combine my translation business with Formula One. Claire Williams was the only one that responded, and on that date I got to go to the factory. So Williams will always have a special place in my heart from now on. And I also started watching Formula One with a different viewpoint, because I know how hard everybody works to get to get into the lower points. So I that's why I'm wearing Williams top, and for no other reason. All right, I'll see you in I'll see you in for qualifying later on, and then hopefully the race. Stay tuned. Bye for now. Bye. Hello, it's Raz again here to give you my thoughts on qualifying. This qualifying went alright. However, it was a bit more exciting than it was when we at the Australian Grand Prix. Yet we didn't have the final climax that we all want yet. However, let me start from the beginning. First of all, it looked like Nico Rosberg was gonna take pole position, and with Vettel in second place. However, on his last ditch attempt, Hamilton managed a blistering lap and broke the lap record in the process of the fastest lap around the Bahrain circuit, which was held by Mark Webber. So it was business as usual. So we ended up with the top three of Hamilton, Rosberg, and Vettel. However, Lewis went a bit wide as he went onto the lap, so he made an uncharacteristic mistake. I've got to be honest, I would have loved for Nico to take the pole, but as Nico said in his post-qualifying press conference, taking the pole is not essential in Bahrain, so we should have a good race on our hands. And I'm also pleased for the Williams team to get those drivers into the top 10, and I'm also massively impressed again with Roman Grosjean, because he managed to get himself into 9th position, which, if he stays there, means two points for him already. But I've got a sneaking suspicion that he especially could be one to watch tomorrow. And I don't want to do this, but I've got to do this out of respect, because the Manor team managed to get Pascal Wehrlein onto on to 16th place, which leaves a lot of young, a lot of experienced drivers behind him. Stoffel van Dorn did an exceptionally job in 12th position. Kevin Magnussen will start from the pit lane. As I said earlier, I don't agree with it, but the rules are the rules. So yeah, that's my qualifying report done for today, and let's go racing tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Stay tuned. Hello guys, it's Raz on F1 here again, and with the Bahrain Grand Prix being completed, I think it was quite an interesting race, quite exciting, for a number of reasons which I will elaborate on as we get into this review. But first of all, Vettel didn't get very far. He crashed on his engine blew up on the formation lap. I personally think it was something to do with the little hiccup he had, with the little problem he had yesterday. And then during the start there was a huge carnage. A number of things happened. Valtteri Bottas almost spun round Lewis Hamilton, so he dropped from second position to about 10th, I think it was, and his car was really damaged, so he Bottas then got a drive-through penalty for that. In my opinion, it was the right decision, as much as I hate to admit it, because, as you know, I've got a really strong feelings towards Williams for reasons that I stated earlier. But on this occasion, I think it was the right decision to give Valtteri Bottas the drive-through penalty. And then Button lost DRS on lap 7. Pretty straightforward, really. DRS loss. For those of you who are not familiar with DRS, it's the drag reduction system, which enables the driver to open the rear wing flap to gain a couple of extra kilometers of speed. I'm not entirely sure how much speed that is, but that's in a nutshell what it does. And then poor Esteban Gutierrez, he doesn't seem to have much luck. These
he doesn't seem to have much luck. Losing, retiring on from the race again. I was pretty stunned that Stoffel Van Dorn managed to get past the Force India of Perez without DRS, and I think that was stunning. I think the kids has got a lot of guts, to be honest with you, and I think either Button's career or even Fernando Alonso's career might be under threat, despite Fernando having a contract that ties him to McLaren for another year at least, I do believe. But we all know what contracts mean in Formula 1. They mean F all, and they are not even worse the paper that they are written on. So I'm interested to see what's happening there. And then the other surprising thing for me was the fact that Kevin Magnussen complained about that he couldn't get past Pascal Wehrlein. That was surprising for me. I've got to be honest, I don't know how that happened, but in this race, I think the Manor team did well, although they didn't score any points, but they mixed it up with the midfield, I do believe, and yeah, so I think it's about time to lower the, I've been criticizing the Manor team quite harshly lately, in the first vlog and earlier in this vlog that I've been doing, but I think today is the time that we should mention them. Anyway, what else happened? Carlos Sainz retired as well, and then the Haas team screwed up Grosjean's third pit stop. What I mean by screwed up means that they actually, they had a couple of teething problems, but I let them off because they are only in their second Grand Prix ever. So when Rosberg was told about the gap over the radio by his team, I thought that wasn't allowed these days under the new radio regulations. So maybe somebody can explain it to me, whether that was actually the driver coaching, which is banned under the new regulations. So, but anyway, I liked his response when he said, "Don't tell me every lap, tell me every 4 or 5 laps." I think that's what he said. Reminded me a bit about Kimi Räikkönen when he won for Lotus, when he said, "Leave me alone, I know what I'm doing." So whether or not it was driver coaching or not, I didn't really think he took much notice of it anyway. I also have to point out that Wehrlein put a stunning pass on Nico Hülkenberg, which I was really surprised about, and yeah. So overall, the Manor team did well in this Grand Prix, and I'm slightly regretting the giving them such a hard time early AMO vlogs, but hopefully they can continue. Rosberg won the Grand Prix again, extending his lead to 17 points over Hamilton, I do believe. And yeah, so it was Rosberg winning, Räikkönen second, Hamilton third, and my man of the race again is got to be Roman Grosjean, because he managed to bring home 5th position, and I do believe that by the end of the season, and I know that I'm putting my neck on the line, but I do believe that a podium, if not a win, is definitely on the cards for Roman Grosjean or Esteban Gutierrez with the Haas team, because I think they did a stunning job. Let me know in the comments whether you agree or not. So here it goes again. Here I'll repeat the question. Do you think that the Haas team can actually win a Grand Prix by the end of the season, or at least get a podium? I believe they can get a win, and yeah, and the Massa and Bottas came in 8th and 9th place respectively. To be honest with you, I was a bit disappointed with that result, but I'm sure that the guys at Williams will not be happy with that result, and will get do better in the next outing. And I also wonder whether Alonso would have managed to do any better than what Stoffel van Dorn has done, which was scored the final point for 10th place in because I don't think Alonso could have done any better than if he was in the car. I do think it was the right decision for him not to race, because if the doctors thought he was fit enough to race, then they would have passed him fit to do so. but I think when it comes to medical decisions, I think it shouldn't be up to the driver whether he or she wants to race. I think it should be an exclusive decision made by the medical professionals, because they know the implications, and yeah. But nevertheless, I hope that he's going to be back for Bahrain, and yeah, that concludes my my vlog for this race. A quick mention to Lee Mackenzie and Susie Wolf. I think it's great that you're still on the team, and keep up the good work. Alright, see you later. Bye.